There's going to be times in our lives when things go great, and there's going to be times in our lives when things go terrible. And two analogies that I want to make today. The first is that when you think things are going good, they're never as good as you think they are. And when things are going bad, they're never as bad as you think they are. And that's not to be negative, pessimistic, etc. But the highs can never be too high and the lows can never be too low. And the reason for that is because things start to become circumstantial. And when things start becoming good, then it may be a better circumstance for you to do X, Y, or Z. And when things are going bad, it may be more of a reason to have an excuse to not do X, Y, or Z. And so the analogy that I'm making today is that similar to in football, playing college ball at Syracuse and then Lafayette College. Let's say I finished up a practice. I thought I had a great practice. We would go back and watch the film, and I would realize my practice wasn't really as good as what I thought it was. Same thing when I finished practice and I thought I had a terrible practice. We would go back and watch the film, and I would think, you know what, that wasn't really as bad as what I thought it was. The point is, the highs can never be too high and the lows can never be too low. The analogy that I want to tie back to the Bible is Proverbs 3, verse 5 through 6, where it's lean not on your own understanding. And there's going to be times in our lives where, again, the circumstances may be great or the circumstances may be terrible. It's all perspective at the end of the day. But when we try and rely on ourselves and try and understand why we're being put in a certain situation, why we're dealing with this financial hardship, a tough relationship, sickness, mental health, emotional, etc. Why are we going through this time? Why is God putting us to the test? That's really when you have to lean on God. He's testing your faith. And it's a lot easier said than done, something obviously I struggle with and most humans struggle with. But really, it is a test. It's a test of faith. And know that when you get through that test, God is going to deliver you strength, patience, a financial success. You just have to keep going, keep pushing, and keep the faith. So the quick story I want to make is that when I transferred out of Syracuse to Lafayette College, I thought the grass was going to be green on the other side. Long story short, I was absolutely miserable. I was basically failing school, had a very tough time in school, mentally was a mess. Was not playing good football at all compared to how I used to play. I was dealing with an injury, ended up having to get surgery, and I couldn't wait to graduate. I was always looking for that next best thing. That was basically my life. And so once I finally graduated, the point that I want to make is that I realized how much strength I have. Nothing's going to break me. Because really mentally, I was in a very bad mental spot, to be honest. And once I finally graduated, I was like, there's literally never going to be anything worse. And so during that time, I was miserable. And now looking back on it, one, it was definitely not that bad. So hindsight's always 20/20, and it wasn't as bad of a situation as what I had thought it was while I was going through that. So that's, another point. The highs are never too high and the lows are never too low, like I said. But once you finally get through those lows, you realize it wasn't that bad and that you just developed so much strength. So now I really feel like there's nothing that can break me mentally. Whatever it was that I was going through, I couldn't wait to graduate. When I graduated, now I feel like I'm in such a better spot in my life mentally, emotionally, in my faith, etc. And so just wanted to get that out there for you guys. Maybe you're struggling, maybe you're doing great. It's just a message to lean on God and lean into your faith. Hope you guys found value.